Hey everyone, it's Laura from the blog artreallyhouse.com, and today's video I'm going to be doing a grocery haul and showing you guys where we source our meat from and planting our garden. So I do a lot of cook with me videos and I get a lot of questions about where we source all of our food from and just about our grocery budget and different things like that. So in this video, I'm just going to be doing a grocery haul video. I went to the store, bought a ton of stuff and put it all on the table. I'm just going to show you what I got there. But you'll see in the grocery haul that there are lots of essentials missing, like our meat, and that's because we get all of our meat in bulk from my sister's farm. So I just got a large amount of meat from her, and so I also am going to be showing you that, putting it away in my deep freezer and kind of showing you how much it is. This is a quarter of a steer. Usually we get a half, but we recently got a whole hog from her, and she also is doing meat chickens now, and so we'll be getting those in the next couple of weeks or so. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty of room in my freezer for the other meat. So we just got a quarter of a steer this time. So I'm going to be showing you that. And then also, it is now summertime here where I live, and we are planting our garden and doing a lot of like tomatoes and some peppers and fresh herbs and things. So I'm going to take you along as we plant the garden as well. So if you watched my video last week, I shared that we had just gotten home from vacation and I was doing all kinds of things around the house, kind of just getting things back in order after the vacation. So one of the things that I did right when I got home is I went to the grocery store, because obviously when we left, we tried to eat everything that was perishable in the home before we left. And so I had to go and like restock on all the things. So after I got home with all my groceries, I decided that I would just do a grocery haul video because you guys seem to love those. So I was going to talk about the groceries that I got, but if you missed last week's video, I will link it below, because I also kind of did some clips of me grocery shopping and talked about, you know, the other things that we were doing when we got home from our trip. But for this video, I'm just going to be sharing all the groceries that we got. And then after this, I'm going to be taking you guys outside to our summer garden. We have been working on that and planting it this week, and that is going to be a lot of the groceries, or, you know, we're going to be able to cut down on the amount of groceries we use once everything starts growing. So this is going to be kind of like a summer grocery haul, gardening, kind of to show you guys what we're going to be eating this summer and how we're going to be sourcing all of our food. So for this grocery haul, you're going to see a bunch of produce. I also got a lot of just things like this that I was out of. This is avocado oil, red wine vinegar. I got some white wine vinegar and also some Marcello cooking wine. I like having all of this type of stuff to make homemade salad dressings, marinades, just to cook with. So I do like to stock up on those. I also use apple cider vinegar and even distilled white vinegar, but I wasn't out of those, so I still have those in the pantry. But I like to have a good amount of that kind of stuff on hand just for cooking. I also got some organic ketchup, and I got a couple things of mustard. My kids love mustard and obviously ketchup. I do a lot of times make my own condiments. We make a lot of honey mustard for salad dressing, so that's why I get a lot of mustard. And then sometimes I make my own ketchup. Sometimes I just am lazy and I buy it. So I have some of that. So that's kind of that stuff I got. And then as far as produce goes, I got the things that I really can't grow or don't have growing yet. So I got some apples, a couple bags of organic apples. I get a bunch of bananas because my baby likes to eat a banana every morning, sometimes even in the afternoon. Just anytime he wakes up, he like reaches for a banana because he's hungry. Easy snacks for the kids. I wish I lived where I can grow bananas and avocados. I always have a ton of avocados. So I got 20 avocados this shopping trip. I got a bunch of sweet potatoes and some organic red potatoes. Now I am planting potatoes this year. I have the sets and everything all ready. I just haven't got anything in the ground yet because we just got home from vacation. I didn't want to plant anything before I got home because, one, it was really cold the couple weeks leading up before we left, and we had some nights that were even frosting. And so I knew that if I planted things, they would go bad or not grow. And also because I knew while I was gone, I wasn't going to be able to take care of them. So I haven't planted anything yet, but that's going to be, I'm going to show you later, we're going to be planting. I got a bunch of organic spring mixes. Again, I know I could have planted lettuce and cabbage. We're just behind this year. We're just getting around to tilling the garden and planting. Being in a new house, we kind of are just picking out the different areas that we're going to garden in. So I will hopefully be doing that next year, but for now, I got a bunch of this because we like eating a lot of salads this time of year. I got a ton of tomatoes, and I'm gonna be planting a bunch of tomatoes and peppers and onions because I love that kind of stuff all summer long for like salads and fresh pico and salsas. But because my tomatoes they were seeds and they're plants now and they're ready to go in the ground, but because they aren't producing yet and they probably won't be until about July, I went ahead and bought a bunch of tomatoes because we're gonna need those. I got mushrooms and onions. I love sauteing mushrooms and onions in my eggs in the morning, so I always get a bunch of those. A big, huge bag of organic carrots. Let's see, produce also. Oranges, my kids love cuties. Just another good snack for them, and they all absolutely love grapefruits, which I think is kind of funny because they're pretty sour, but they just love grapefruit. So I always get grapefruit. We don't really have many sources of fruit here. We do have some blackberry bushes that we planted, and so we'll be able to get berries, but as far as like oranges and like citrus fruits, avocados, we can't grow that stuff here, so I'm still buying that from the store. Now, another thing that I did right when I got home from my vacations, I ran over to my sister's house. She lives pretty close by and she has a dairy cow, so we get all of our milk from there. That's where I get my raw milk to make my yogurt and my kefir and just everything that we do dairy-wise. So I got a bunch of milk. This is a gallon. Here's another half of gallon. I see her multiple times a week. So a couple times a week when I run out, I just get more milk. It's always nice and fresh. This was milk just a couple of days ago. So that's nice. I also got a bunch of grass-fed cheese. The milk from the cows were grass-fed. Kerrygold cheese. I know I could be making my own cheese. We'd probably have plenty of milk. My sister would probably like if I did that, but I have not dabbled in the cheese making. So for now, I just have a bunch of cheese. I got some coconut sugar. My daughter loves to bake, and so she uses coconut sugar in most of her baking. She said we were out, so we got some of that. I also got one thing of organic all-purpose flour. I do grind my own flour and make most things with my whole wheat berries that I grind myself, but sometimes there are just certain baked goods that you make that you want all-purpose flour for, so I like to have a pack of that on hand just whenever she's baking if it calls for that in the recipe. I got 4 of these organic unsweetened applesauces. Again, she uses this in baking a lot and also just for snacks for the kids. Butternut squash. This is something that we will definitely be growing. Usually around the end of summer is when I'll be getting a bunch of butternut squashes in my garden. And I like to plant a lot of these, and then they store really well in the basement. So I won't have to be buying these much longer. Last year I didn't garden at all because we had just moved to this new house. So we didn't get around to gardening. So I do have a couple of butternut squashes that we will eat up for now, and then hopefully I'll have enough to get us through most of the year with what I plant in my garden. So that's pretty much it for the grocery haul. You'll notice that there's no meat on this table, and that's because we get our meat in bulk from my other sister who has a cattle farm, and she raises her cattle out on pasture. It's really good, high quality beef, and so we get all of our beef and even our pork. She does pigs as well, and meat chickens. And so we're getting most of our meat just from her. She is working on getting her licensings and like all the things that you have to do in order to ship things. And when she does, I'll let you guys know, because then you guys will be able to buy from her too. It's really nice to have a meat source so close by. My mom is actually coming by today because she watched our puppy while we were on vacation. She's dropping off the dog, and she's dropping off a quarter of a steer that we bought for my sister. And so I'll be showing you guys that meat here in a little bit whenever that gets here, but that's all the meat that we get. So I don't really have to, you are buying any meat from the grocery store. All right, so now that you guys saw the groceries that we get from the store, I'm gonna show you the meat that we just got from my sister. This is, like I said, a quarter of a steer, so you're gonna see I have a bunch of just ground beef. And the best part about getting a quarter is that you get all the steaks, you get the soup bones, you get the roast, and I also got the oxtail this time. Whenever you're splitting it, obviously there's 4 people splitting this, you don't always get all the organ meats. I always say that I'll take them if they're available. This time we got the oxtail. That was the only thing that I saw in there. In the past we've gotten liver and heart and different things before, but I like getting my meat in bulk because then I get all the different cuts and it's a lot cheaper that way. So this here is a quarter, so you guys can kind of get an idea of how much meat that is. This will last my family for several months, and like I said, we'll be getting more meat soon from my sister with the chickens, and also we are raising some hogs here at our house. So we'll have a hog that we'll be butchering at the end of summer for our meat as well. All right, so this is our first year doing a garden at this new house. We are tilling up a spot to put the different produces that we want. I already did some herbs in some just pots in our flower beds, but here I'm gonna be planting tomatoes, onions, and peppers for sure. I'll also be planting a little bit of zucchini and some butternut squash and also some cucumbers. That's all stuff that grows really well here in our state. Now I'm hoping that the soil here is as good as it was at our last house. This, like I said, is our first time planting, so we'll kind of see how it goes. These plants that I'm planting are actually seeds that my little sister started. She had a bunch of them and told us that we could just use some of hers. So that's what I'm planting here now. All right, so as we go through the summer, I'll definitely be doing clips and showing you guys some of the produce that we're getting and how I cook with this. My favorite thing about summer is having fresh pico and salsa with every single meal, and we also love to make jalapeno poppers. So just jalapenos, a little bit of cream cheese, wrapped in bacon. So we'll definitely be making a lot of that this summer with all this fresh produce that we're planting in our garden. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you guys some great meal ideas and maybe some inspiration to get your garden going. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. I get out a new video every single week. All right guys, see you all in the next video.